Hey everybody, welcome to Hockey Skatedown. Before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers. If you want to join our hockey team, it's free. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell to all. Thank you all so much, and let's get started. I want to do a video on the Buffalo Sabres. I haven't done one in a while, and I want to do a video on them because I watched the game against the Ducks today, and the NHL Network brought up an interesting picture talking about 4 potential trade targets for the Buffalo Sabres. So I want to talk about that, mention these 4 players, talk about them a bit, and what I think, in my opinion, the Sabres should go for as the NHL trade deadline looms not too far away. So please stay with me throughout. It should be a fun video. So when you were watching the game, they said Sabres potential trade targets, and they mentioned 4 big names. So let's talk about them now. Number 1, Jakob Chychrun. Number 2, Patrick Kane. Number 3, Ivan Provorov. And number 4, John Klingberg. So starting it off, I'm going to talk about Jakob Chychrun because I think he's one of the most that makes sense to the Buffalo Sabres. He's got a $4.6 million cap hit until the year of 24-25. So he comes with a bit of term as his contract expires at the end of that year. He's 24 years old, still a very young defenseman, 6'2", 220 pounds. So he brings a very physical element, a big guy who can help out on the Sabres back end, which I think they need defense at this point, looking at how their season's going. Having a really good year, 29 games played, 5 goals, 18 assists for 23 points. The Arizona Coyotes are asking a lot for him, so he's not going to come cheap. They're asking for 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick, which the Sabres have a lot of. I'll talk about that in a little bit, or a good prospect. And Jeff Marek believes that the Sabres are a dark horse team vying for Jakob Chychrun. So to me, Chychrun makes a lot of sense if the Sabres can do this. I know a lot of teams are looking at Jakob Chychrun as we head towards the NHL trade deadline. So he's going to come at a price, but he comes with a bit of term, and that should be good for the Sabres if they're willing to give up what it's going to take to get him. So, he's definitely one to keep an eye out on as the months come up. Patrick Kane, number 2, and I know a lot of people want to see Patrick Kane in a Buffalo Sabres jersey. I do as well. I know he was born in Buffalo. There's all connections to him going to play there, and I could potentially see it happen one day, but I don't think it's going to happen this year. With all of the potent offensive talent that the Sabres have, I hope they can target a defenseman and possibly look for a netminder to really help their cause for the playoffs this year. I think their offense is good. A lot of their players are really producing at a really good clip this year. Tage Thompson is having a sensational year. Alex Tuch's having a good year. Victor Olofsson's having a good year. Cozens having a good year. So, all these players, and Skinner too, all their players are producing. Every time you watch a game and they're winning, it's either 4, 5, 6 goals. So they got to work on trimming and getting their defense a bit tight as they could potentially go for the playoffs this year. So, to me, Patrick Kane, I love him. I love the way Patrick Kane has played all these years. He's a top 100 player, but I hope they go for defense instead of forward. So looking at Patrick Kane, he's 34 years old. He's a UFA at year's end. 40 games played this year, 8 goals, 21 assists for 29 points. He brings in veteran leadership, playoff experience, Stanley Cups, just name it. Everybody's watched Patrick Kane up to this point, and, obviously we'd all love to see him play for the Sabres, but if they're going to do that, wait till he's a UFA at year's end and try to sign him. That's my opinion. That's what I would do. Number 3. Provorov from the Flyers. He's got a $6.75 million cap hit, 26 years old, 6'1", 201 pounds. His contract expires at the end of the 24-25 season, so like Jakob Chychrun, you're getting him with a bit of term. And this year he's played in 46 games, 2 goals, 13 assists for 15 points. So as the Flyers are looking to retool on the fly, he's definitely one big name that's out there for them to bring a lot of assets in. The asking for him hasn't been revealed yet, but his name has been out there, and we'll see. But to me, I like Chychrun or Klingberg. So talking about Klingberg, he's 30 years old, 6'3", 190 pounds, a right shot defenseman, which could help the Buffalo Sabres, and he's a UFA as his contract expires at the end of this year. This year he's played in 39 games played, 6 goals, 9 assists, 15 points. And Frank Saravelli mentioned that the Ducks will get a first-round pick and more for Klingberg. So, to me, I like Klingberg. He was very instrumental in the Sabres' run to the Stanley Cup Finals that year. He plays good. He's a big guy, and he's a right shot that could help out the Sabres. So if I'm looking at one of those 4 names, I would look at Chychrun or I would look at Klingberg. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more names as the NHL trade deadline comes closer. You're going to hear a bunch more names being thrown out there. So these are just 4 of the top names being mentioned now, but I'm sure that list will grow as we near the trade deadline. So looking at cap friendly, it shows that the Buffalo Sabres have an $18.2 million projected cap space. So they have a lot to make a move, but they do have to make decisions on their contracts that they have for this upcoming year with RFA and UFAs as well. But looking at what they have for the future, they have a 2023 first-round pick. They have 3 second-round picks that they could definitely use to acquire a good player. 2024, they have their first-round pick, and 2025, they have their first-round pick too. So they have a bunch of assets they could use if they want to make a push for a big player. And looking at their defense, it looks good right now. You have Dahlin, you have Power, Jokiharju, Lyubushkin, Samuelson, Clegg, and Bryson. So, if they could bring in a right shot defenseman, they have Jokiharju and Lyubushkin, but if they could bring in like a John Klingberg, I think he'd be a cheaper option than Jakob Chychrun. I don't think the Ducks are going to command as much, but, he's a big right shot defenseman that could really help out, the Sabres, get the puck up to their talented forwards to score. So, I like the way the Sabres are playing this year. I really do. They're definitely one of those teams that, like the Devils for me, I didn't expect them to take off like they did this year. But, the Sabres, to me, every time you see a game, they've won 4, 5, 6 goals. And Thompson looks tremendous. Tuch looks good on this team. I really like those moves they made to bring in those players. Skinner's having a rebound year from years past when he was having those off years. So, a lot to look forward to with this team. They're a good, fast, young team that could really push the pace, score, but their defense and goaltending has to be tightened. And looking at their goaltenders, Comrie, Anderson, and UPL, looking at how they played individually, Comrie is 4-8-0, 3.67 GAA, .883 save percentage. Anderson at 41 years old, and that's what you got to consider as you're entering the playoffs. You need goaltending to win a Stanley Cup. And, Anderson at 41 years has played good, but you want to bring in some depth at your netminders. He's had a good year, 7-6-2, 2.78 GAA, and a .917 save percentage. And Lokinen, 11-5-1, having a good year, 3.33 GAA, and a .898 save percentage. So he's got to tighten up his GAA and his save percentage, but 11-5-1 is not bad. So, if they can add a netminder, if they can solidify the defense, I think the Sabres could make a really strong push to make the playoffs. So, comment below what do you think about this? What do you think this Buffalo Sabres team should target as we near the trade deadline? Comment below and let me know. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate your time. Smash that like button if you haven't done so. And if you haven't, subscribe to the Hockey Skatedown. Join our hockey team. It's free. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of the day. Have a great night. Take it easy. Stay safe.